Every time that we have a Jew from Jewish faith, that's Rabbi Harry Pell, and I want to thanks to him very much because he just flew back from Israel yesterday, and that's very rushed, but he still showed up. Thank you. 接下来我们要请我们的犹太教的代表啊，他是昨天才从以色列飞回美国，今天马上来参加。Okay, please.
Thank you. Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi, fellow venerables, religious leaders, government leaders, and to everyone who's joined us here today, I'm honored and esteemed to once again be able to join this special gathering as we share our prayers for peace. As we look to the year ahead, I'm struck by a theme from the year we are leaving behind. And it's a theme that actually I'd like to leave behind in this past year. Not only because I think it'll make for a more enjoyable year ahead, but because I think it'll make for a more peaceful year ahead. For us, our families, our country, and the world. And that theme, which I would like to leave behind in 2018, is the theme of fear. As I look back on 2018, I'm struck by the role that fear played in how the year evolved. And indeed, there were many reasons to fear, legitimate reasons. We saw individuals and groups targeted because of their skin color, or their gender, or orientation, or their religion, or their national origin. Even as we sit in this sacred house of prayer, we look back on a year in which houses of prayer of many faiths were violated, not just around the world, but here in our own country. We saw many things in this past year which could lead one to be afraid. We also saw and have come to understand the ways in which fear can be encouraged and used as a tool to make the world a less peaceful place. We have seen how fear can be engendered in order to create divisions between each of us and our fellow human beings. And we've seen how fear can be used to motivate individuals to commit acts of hate and violence. We've seen fear cause hate, we've seen hate cause violence, and we have in turn seen that violence cause more fear. But we've also seen individuals stand up in the face of that fear to protect those who are vulnerable and to remind everyone that we are all created as equals with the right to live safely and peacefully. We've seen that love is stronger than hate, and that even when we are led to be afraid, we've learned that in those exact moments, we must embrace one another and resist the urge to be fearful. 200 years ago, a Hasidic rabbi named Rebbe Nachman of Breslov also lived in difficult times in Eastern Europe, with many reasons to be afraid. But instead of giving in to fear, he taught his fellow students the following teaching, and they taught it to their students, who taught it to their students, such that we know the words today, even though Rebbe Nachman himself never wrote them down. Rebbe Nachman taught, Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od. Sometimes, Rebbe Nachman taught, the entire world is a very narrow bridge. V'ha'ikar lo lefached klal. The essential thing is to not be afraid. The entire world is a very narrow bridge, and the essential thing is to not be afraid. Over time, Rebbe Nachman's words were put to music, and I'd like to sing his words today as my prayer for peace, to join with all of our prayers for peace, because I believe that a main ingredient for a more peaceful world, a world with less hate, is a world with less fear. I'll alternate between the Hebrew and the English. If you know the song, or if you recognize it, or just pick it up, please join me or hum along. Kol haolam kulo gesher tsar mehod, gesher tsar mehod, gesher tsar mehod. Kol haolam kulo gesher tsar mehod, gesher tsar mehod. V'ha'ikar lo lefached klal. V'ha'ikar lo lefached klal. And the main thing is to recall, to have no fear at all. And the main thing is to recall, to have no fear at all. The entire world is a very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge. The entire world is a very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge. And the main thing is to recall, to have no fear, to have no fear at all. And the main thing is to recall, to have no fear at all. Sometimes the world is indeed a very narrow bridge, but the essential thing is to not be afraid. May 2019 be a year of less fear and more peace. And when events arise around the world that would make us afraid, when the world feels like that narrow bridge, may we remember the words of Rabbi Nachman and choose to not be afraid, so that we can be part of the process of making the world a more peaceful place, the place that we all want it to be. Thank you and Happy New Year.
Well, thank you, Rabbi Harry Pell. 非常感谢我们这个犹太教他带来的特别的讲，提到就是2018年，他认为过去的一年就是一个字，恐惧。那么在犹太教里面呢，他希望他用他们的这个歌词来代表，他唱了一首歌，也是他们的教导内容，就是希望人类不要恐惧，因为恐惧造成了仇恨，仇恨带来了暴力，暴力又带来了恐惧，所以他唱的这首歌就是不要恐惧 ，Not afraid, fearless. Thank you, thank you, Rabbi. 好，接下来呢，我们是要请。